Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rocco, and in this week's video I challenged myself to a 7-day art challenge. Now I'm not going to yap into the mic for that long, it's just a small intro, but basically I just want to explain what's going on for this challenge, just broken down into like 2 periods on every day, just a practice period and then a figure drawing period, because the main point of this video is that I can eventually learn to draw human anatomy quite well. Anyway, enjoy the video. And please like and subscribe. Okay, day 1. So I wanted to start off with something that would be a challenge for a beginner, but not impossible. So I kind of began this journey with like the most unoriginal warm-up ever, but just like basic 3D shapes, just cubes, rectangular base prisms, cylinders, triangular base prisms. If I wanted to spice things up, maybe a cone or two, but kind of that was it. But for my first ever gesture drawing, I wasn't expecting much. To be honest, I expected to start off this journey with a very shaky start, nothing much to be honest. However, I was happily surprised. Sure, looking back, it's not perfect, it's not that pretty, but to be honest, for my first ever drawing of kind of like the challenge, I was okay. It was okay, it's not that bad. Sure, now looking back, I can see specifically what was wrong. Like the body proportions, I can now see are kind of totally off, too big here and there. The face specifically, I didn't like, but you know what? All in all, it was pretty good. Okay, day 2. Now for day 2, I didn't really want to change anything with the actual exercise. I just wanted to keep it the same, the same shapes, nothing really changes. However, the quality, that is what I wanted to improve on. So one thing that I learned just by searching on the web is that what happens, at least for beginners, is that the quality of their lines kind of isn't up to standard. What happens is, especially in the beginning, your lines are what artists call stippled, where instead of being long, kind of full lines, you just use a bunch of small lines to make that one consistent stroke that's necessary to have in order to be a good artist. Now, for my second day, I have to be honest, it was actually really, really good. Like, there's not necessarily anything about the drawing that says, wow, this is amazing, it's so fantastic. No, I was just really, really impressed with what I came out on the second day. Like, what I was cooking, like chef's kiss to like day 2 me. Okay, it was great. Now, like, great enough that I showed my mom. I was like completely in awe with it. However, like, I want to say, like, looking back, I'm like, oh, there's tons of errors, but you know what, getting past like the stippling, as you can see, I'm like kind of not doing full strokes, whatever. I was really happy with how it went. So like day 2, another good day. Okay, it's day 3. Now for day 3, I might get some questions of like why a different place, but that was just circumstantial. I just had like, the utilities to just videotape myself in a different place. So I did, just because, there's no real rules against it. However, it's still the same exercise, just the same old, same old. I kind of looking back, I wanted to change the exercise up, maybe spice it up a bit, but also because I was in a new location, I just resorted to the same thing because, I was kind of getting good at it. However, past this point, I did realize the need to change it up a bit, just because it was getting a tiny bit repetitive and I wasn't learning anything new. However, for the figure drawing, you learn something new every time because, well, at least for me, I just do a new figure each time, which makes sense, at least to me. However, for the figure drawing itself, you know what? I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the quality went down. Like, I know day 1 and day 2, I was speaking really highly of myself, but at least for like day 3, I feel like the hands and the face, they just really popped out to me and just like, they just weren't as good as the days before. So, kind of disappointed with that, but all in all, staying strong. Okay, day 4, more than halfway done the challenge. So as I said, I wanted to change up the exercise, so I did. So I kind of broke up the exercise in 2 parts because it actually took me a lot of time to do this like first part of the exercise. The entire first part of the exercise was just like build up depth, where I just basically draw this like elaborate kind of staircase sort of system. And then you just do that and just put the shapes in the paper and then out of it and use like tubes to connect it and helps draw depth. And then the other one was just kind of very simply just twisting and turning basically the cones and things that I've been drawing henceforth. Now for the figure drawing, that's kind of where things I really woke up at this point. So not to be like a bearer of bad news, but like this one as well, it was just going downhill. Like the quality of my drawing, I was not only during the drawing phase was I thinking, man, this is not really coming out as I wanted to. Like I kind of used the eraser a lot more than I wanted to, because, you know, as I'm saying, just shouldn't be like that. It should kind of be in like one fluid motion, but still it just didn't hit the right way. So then out of this entire experience, I got like two things. First things first, I kind of need to change my approach on how I draw the figures. Like I need to spend more time observing them, gathering the information, and then applying it to my work. And second, I gotta fix my faces. Like it came down to like my hands, my feet, and my faces, all known to be very hard, but one of them had to change, and the one that needed to change the most had to be the faces. So then I guess for the rest of the practices, I was just like, you know what, that's what I'm practicing, the faces. Okay, day 5. First things first, open up Google, search up how to draw a head, type that in, and then get reacquainted to an old art friend, and that would be just like Mark Brunette. For those of you who are somewhat acquainted, at least in the YouTube art online kind of universe, Mark Brunette is an absolute GOAT. Okay, like he's the guy in terms of art. In fact, I kind of want to try his YouTube art school, and it's been like, if I have the money, I would. If I had the money, I would. Anyway, so with one of his art videos, I finally learned how to draw these heads, and I mean, like, it's kind of night and day. Like, finally, like, you know, you have an idea, but then when you actually learn the components, it's just so helpful. Now, for the figure drawing, it's now I have like a new mindset. Like, okay, I'm gonna come into this, I have knowledge, I know what I'm doing. So even like right off the start of the bat, I know you can't really tell, but I looked at the thing, I was like, okay, his legs are here, his muscles, the definition. Start off with like, you know, I always start kind of with the midpoint, like kind of the midriff, just because I feel like it's a nice anchoring center point. And then it came time for like to use my skills that I just learned for the head, and it was night and day. You can literally see the difference of quality of this guy. And I mean, of course, like the anatomy, it's not so much that I learned that today. However, it's like the confidence that I got with that one video, it made all the difference. Okay, day 6. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you guys. During like the transition between day 5 and day 6, there was a 2-day pause. I really needed to take the pause because a tiny bit like it was a special day. And then, you know what, like that aside, I just kind of came back to the challenge on kind of like day 9. So I could say day 9, but you know what, just for like simplicity, day 6. Either way, stayed for the I kept the heads just because I felt like, you know what, it's good that I come back to something that I was trying to learn before, and it's not like I can learn it in one day, so that's fine. You can also see that I'm trying to get some like facial features involved as well. Now, for the figure, this was what I was really worried about, because I took a 2-day pause. I don't know how it's going to really go. So first things first, you know, I kind of like look at the image, but you know what? I misjudged the space. As you're going to see me draw the guy, like I misjudged the area. So then what happens, because I started kind of not at the bottom of the page, which I should have, especially the torso and the arm space, it kind of went down. And then what happened was, it was just a discouraging thing. Like, I'm like, oh shoot, like as I was drawing the waist, I'm like, oh, there's not really anything I can do about it. And then I try to draw the face, and then that didn't turn out well. So it was just really discouraging. So I mean, coming back from such a long pause and then having such a low blow, especially on day 6, like only one day till the challenge ends, I was kind of really discouraged. But still, I had to carry on. Like with all the setbacks, I had to just move on forward. That's all there was to it. So for the final day, you know what? Because it was the final day, I want to look back on just the older work that I did. Because, well, to be honest, I always was back and forth in my art career. Like, I say career, but this is just something I've always wanted to do. There's been multiple moments in my life where I've said, you know what? I have time in my day. Why don't I just, instead of, spending it on YouTube or spending it on YouTube Shorts, which is Instagram, all these things, I'm actually going to try to learn a skill. And then, like, I put so much time and commitment into just, circles and lines, which is like kind of the heart of drawing. Like, if you want to get good, the absolute most fundamental basic is like circles and lines, because they construct everything from, like, they construct shapes construct, human anatomy makes like basic scenes. You can find like shapes, well, in anything and everything. It's just kind of like the heart and soul. But I never gave myself time to, flourish or get past this, and I finally have. So I kind of just wanted to go back, look at what I did, like kind of what kind of got me here. And that kind of really inspired me. I just said, you know what, I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna give myself no time limit with like every other one, but I'm gonna make sure my final drawing is one that, it stays with me. So this is it, my final figure drawing of the entire challenge. This is day 7. This is where I make it count. So what I wanted to do was, I'm not going to build up and just draw a naked dude again. No, I mean naked partially. Anyway, I'm not going to build up to that. What I wanted to do was find an image. And if you haven't like checked out my channel name, it's Crusader of Ink and Armor. I wanted to find an image that I could use as my kind of icon. And that's exactly what I did. I found a guy, just on Pinterest, kind of like every other image. But this time I was going to take my time, really focus on it, really just make it my own. So you can see, like, I wanted to do a sword at first, but then I changed it to a shield because, one line that I really liked was, if you had the choice between a sword and a shield, choose the shield. Just because, like, in reality, we're supposed to help others, not really, like, try to fight on our own. Anyway, for the final drawing, I was really, really happy. I mean, that's kind of what I was working for. It's just something that I could say, you know what, this is mine. And to be honest, over the entire 7 days, I can finally say, every time I look at the drawing, I'm just like, man, I made that, and I'm happy I made that. And that was it. The challenge, as soon as I laid down my pencil, I was like, man, it's over. And I'm kind of really, really happy that I did this. I mean, that's the video, guys. That's it. There's no more to it. If you really did enjoy this kind of video, please, I mean, I really am such a small channel at the moment. Just like and subscribe. And please stay tuned, and God bless.